Hi, my name is Harris. I'm one of your podcast hosts. I'm also a lawyer at Treadstone Law. For most Canadians, buying, selling, or refinancing real estate, a lawyer is the last thing on their mind. That's unfortunate because lawyers play a vital role in the process. But what choices do Canadians have? Lawyers can be very expensive. Well, Treadstone Law offers resources to Canadians so they have access to the information they need. Whether you sign up for a live workshop or a mailing list, we cover topics to help you make informed decisions and avoid costly mistakes. It's advice you can start using today, and best of all, it's free. Visit treadstonelaw.ca/MAS offer or click the link below to get access right now. If you're looking to retain Treadstone Law, it's never been easier. Our entire process is online. From completing the retainer agreement to your signing appointment, everything is done from the comfort of your own home. We're your digital lawyers. The best part of it is that you don't pay anything when you're retaining our firm. Visit treadstonelaw.ca/MAS offer or click on the link below to retain us right now. Enjoy the podcast. Welcome to another episode of Hustle and Grit. Today on our podcast, I have Allison Cosgrove. Allison is a mortgage agent with Mortgage Architects. Her goal is to take the stress out of finding the right mortgage for her clients' needs. The goal is not only to get the best interest rates, but also to look at privileges, work with personal budgets, market trends, short and long-term goals. Welcome to the podcast, Allison.
Hi, well, happy to be here.
Awesome. Now, I know that I really liked your branding. You're with Mortgage Architects, but you have your website's Blue Jean Mortgage Queen. Just to start off, I got to ask, give us some context, give the listener some context on what that's all about.
I wanted something that would make my teenage daughters cringe. However, you know what? As soon as they started cringing, I knew I was onto something because people would remember it. No, the impetus behind it was really, I'm not here to add pressure. I'm not here to show off. I'm not here to do any of that. I'm here to simply work hard for my clients and ensure that their needs are met. I'm not here to make a ton of money, so chances are I'm coming to our signups in my blue jeans, which I'm actually wearing today. So yeah, I'm here to make you comfortable, make your life easy, stress-free. That's the name of the game.
Yeah, I mean, when I first saw Blue Jean Mortgage Queen, I felt like it says a lot right in the beginning. It's not a high-pressure environment, yet you're the queen of mortgages, so you would know what you're doing. So it's like it's the best of both.
Exactly.
So then, just some context. How did you kind of enter the mortgage industry? What was your kind of story, your impetus into becoming a mortgage broker? Was this something that you always wanted to do? Was this something that later on in your life you realized this is something that is lacking within your community, whether it's physical or it's online? What was kind of your story to becoming a mortgage agent?
Well, it was definitely not in the cards right off the hop. I can tell you that much. But then you know what? Some of the best careers aren't found right off the hop. They're kind of you find your way into them,
Yeah.
and I truly did. I'm a bookkeeper and accountant by trade, so that's where a lot of the budgeting and that sort of stuff comes into play. But I remember back when my husband and I first got our first mortgage, when we bought our house, and I remember how stressful and scary that was. And when I found myself working for a wonderful real estate law firm, I realized that there was better ways to do things. And I'm that person that just likes to make life easier for people, easier for clients. So with my boss's blessing, I went out and got my mortgage agent license, and it's just kind of spiraled from there. And really, in the back of my mind, when I'm meeting with my clients, I always think back to my husband and I sitting across the table from our own mortgage broker at the time, and just making sure that I'm not that same person, that I'm making it less stressful, that I'm making it more easy. If that's at all possible, but at least managing my clients' expectations, making sure that they're apprised of everything as we go along, and you know, heading off any troubles before they get to my client.
And but when you're saying like you're making it easy, was there an experience that you had that you felt like this is too difficult and I need to make it easier, that kind of got you to get involved into that side?
There is a lot of documents, mortgages, real estate in general. It's very document heavy, and ensuring that I'm not going back to the client 7 or 8 times, knowing what is required of my clients right off the bat, whether it be from my perspective or also the real estate law perspective. I do try to grab as many documents up front for both sides, because I do understand, because I did spend 6.5 years, 6 years doing funding from the perspective of a real estate law firm. So I know what a lot of the documents that the lawyers are going to. So it's one grab of information rather than, okay, I need documents, and then the lawyer's going to need the same documents or sometimes different documents. And then, I try to get them all at once so that it's less stress, less.
It is stressful because I find like it is often, depending on who you're working with, if it's not with the right team, it's like passing the baton on where if, for example, you're buying a house, the realtor does their one bit, then they pass you on to the mortgage broker who does their one bit, and then they pass you on to the real estate lawyer and they're doing their bit. And each time the client doesn't really know what to expect. And it's kind of like, okay, we're done one part, and they don't know who to go to for what, who's responsible for what area, and all of that kind of sometimes gets blurred because, for example, we have, being a real estate lawyer, I see the last leg of it. There's tons of like financing questions that we get, and my perspective has always been, I cannot answer these questions. You'd have to go back to your broker. But if everybody's kind of communicating, that entire process is something that makes it's just more easier. And like you're saying it's stress free. You're not going to be thinking, what am I going to have to do now? So
yeah, and I try to take a lot of that out. I work closely with the real estate lawyer or with the real estate lawyers, because a good majority of my time is spent ensuring that the documents that you guys have from the lenders are not condition heavy, right? Yeah. I try to clear up a lot of that before it even hits real estate lawyers' desks. Same with real estate agents. I work closely with them, to ensure that when they're out shopping for a home, really realistically, I'm the middleman in my way of thinking. When clients come to me and go, okay, can I afford a house? And we sit down, we go over their budget, we go over their credit, we go over everything, their job history, all of that ahead of, generally speaking, I like to hit it ahead of sitting them down with a real estate agent and going house shopping, because I apologize. And, making sure that they're on budget, they're on target, that the real estate agent is aware of what they can afford and what they can't afford. So that, there's no, oh, well, I saw this $1.2 million house and they can only afford $800,000, right? So we that, getting hopes up, managing expectations, all that kind of stuff.
So I feel like, like if you go back 10, 20 years, a mortgage was a mortgage. Now there's like so many other products out there, and to have what I would describe as a multidisciplinary background as you have, where you're going through the accounting, the bookkeeping, so you can really hold a client's hand throughout the entire process. Because
Absolutely.
a lot of times I've seen brokers who are really good brokers, and they have no reason to know what we're doing, but they could be in the industry for 10, 15, 20 years. They still don't know what we're doing at our end, to
Mhm.
prepare the clients for that and let them know, hey, this is what's coming up, and this is what, again, collecting the documents and all of that. Really, that's what I say always sets any kind of good professional apart from a great professional from a good professional, is they're advising the client as to what's to come and what to expect, and preparing them today for what's going to happen tomorrow, so they're not waking up going, oh my God, what do I need to do?
Right.
So
And it makes your guys' lives easier on, I look at it and I have a big love for my real estate lawyers. Um, because at the end of the day, you guys are the final pass and you are the final touchdown. So if I can make your lives easier in any way, that's kind of my job as well. Because at the end of the day, if I make your lives easier, it's easier on my clients.
Yeah.
So
No, I definitely, you know what,
yeah,
like I pray for the brokers who collect all the stuff and send it to us. I'm like, this is it's just, it's like the yep, yep. And and the thing is it's not even just smooth on our end. The client experience is so much more, like, it's that much more better, because so many times do you hear clients, well, I just sent this to the realtor and I already sent it to the broker. Like, can you just, why do I have to send it to you? So it's
when I have a client engage with a lawyer, I usually send over my own document
yeah.
package that has a lot of the things that you guys are going to need, whether it be void checks, whether it be payout statements if we're doing a refinance, the APS. I try to make sure that everything is in my hand, and then I send it to you guys. And again, it just prevents the redundancy for the client and the frustration of, well, exactly what you said. Well, I got this from the real estate agent. Why didn't they send it to you? Well, as a broker, I can take care of all of that because I need to see that.
Yeah.
I need to see yes, I need to see, um, the payout statements, all of that stuff. So I should already have it. Why aren't,
Yeah.
that one step
Yeah.
and make it easy for,
So
right?
yeah. So walk us through what it's like, if I'm buying a house, if I'm a first time home buyer or a repeat buyer. What's their journey like, working with you? Do I just give you a call? Do I shoot you an email? Are you digital only? Do I come to an office? What's that entire process from like beginning to end of working with you and getting that first house, or whatever, getting that purchase done?
Um, wow. It depends on direction.
Yeah.
It really depends on what you're comfortable with. I am pretty open to my clients. I'll come to you. I don't have a physical office. Again, very simple, straightforward. You can apply online. You can give me a call. We can do a virtual app. We can talk through on the phone. I can go through the whole application process with you over the phone. We can have a Zoom meeting if that's what you prefer. We have once you sign over the consent forms and everything, then I can start pulling credit together and really start having a holistic whole view of your finances. And then we kind of go from there. I do advise my clients to come see me before you sit down and have a conversation with a realtor, because again, at the end of the day, you want to know what you can
Yeah.
afford, and not especially with today's rates and everything changing. I want to make sure that you're set up for success right off the bat. So absolutely come have a sit down conversation, fill out an application. Let's get your finances in order so I can say, okay, this is where your range is.
Mm-hmm.
And then, if you don't have a realtor, I have quite a few realtors that more than happy to help my clients. Depending on where you're located and what you're looking for. I do have realtors that deal in specialties, whether it be like bungalows or downtown Mississauga, that kind of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
condominiums. And then once you've found your home, then it's just a matter of getting the pertinent details about the property, because we've already gotten all the other documents out of the way
Yeah.
first. Because I do like to verify that jobs and income and that sort of stuff is huge, as well as credit. Again, I don't want any surprises for my clients, so
Yeah.
I usually do try to start ahead of time.
Yeah, I mean, I always advise clients, like, the first thing. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I always advise mortgage broker should always be the first one. It's not about, like, I know, like, buying a house, it's an emotional decision as much as it's a financial decision, but the finances always come first. The bank's not going to give you the money because you really want the house. So
Right, exactly. Exactly. And that's just it. Like, I remember when I was house hunting, with three little kids in tow, mind you. My real estate agent at the time was a god. I cannot even understand how he managed with my three kids. And me and my husband, like he was just amazing. And, I remember not even knowing how much I could afford.
yeah,
I was guessing. And which also, again, adds to the stress. Oh, this is a beautiful home. It's great. It's wonderful. It's got ticks all the boxes. It's got the yard and the right amount of bedrooms, and the kitchen's, I get, a huge kitchen, and, it ticks all the boxes. And then you come down to it and you can't afford it.
yeah.
Right. And that is an emotional letdown. And I don't want my clients to have that. Like that's heartbreaking when you get your hope set on something,
Yeah.
and then you can't,
And
right?
especially if you have three kids, and they, if they're seeing the house, they get attached, and it's not easy taking three kids out for house hunting. So when you're doing that, you wanna make sure you know what your limits are and what you're looking at, so you're only going to the places that you need to, as opposed to. I mean, it's up to you. I feel like every set of parents is different. Um,
I look at it, and like I said, I just look at the whole process. Now, again, I had an amazing real estate agent that I absolutely adore. And he took care of my family, and I appreciate that. Um, but there was a lot of things that I just, I wish I had have had a budget ahead of time. I wish I had have knew what I was looking for, and what I could afford, and what would be comfortable, and what it all would look like when it all was said and done. And you know, I that's the premise that I operate on. What would I want if I was doing this again today? What would I want um, as a first-time home buyer, as somebody with in financial distress and needing that help out, and
yeah,
needing to use the equity to get themselves out of a sticky situation, that sort of stuff. Or just, they want a second property, a vacation property, that kind of stuff. I always look at, how would I, if I was on the other side of that table, how would I want my broker to be? How would I want them to treat me? What would they need to know to make my life easier? Um, so, and that's, again, I don't wear the flashy suits. I wear a suit jacket.
yeah,
Don't kid yourself. You know, um, I'm not going to show up in, a splashy fancy car. I'm just your everyday girl trying to help everybody, as many people as I can, be homeowners, stay in their home longer if they're old, if they're seniors, and
yeah.
that kind of stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm very service driven. Um, Whatever I can do to help my clients achieve their
Yeah.
ideal.
And
And
I feel like that's one of the biggest reasons why I push mortgage brokers. I mean, I've worked with a lot of fantastic mortgage specialists at banks, which and I'm not really saying anything about that, but I'm saying more with the mortgage brokers. The reason why I feel like I'm an advocate for mortgage brokers is exactly kind of what you're saying right now, because there's so many financial products out there. You're going to buy a house. Maybe you need to extend it. Maybe you need a mortgage line because your kid's going off to college. You need to pay for that. There's so many different things. You want to invest on something, and you want to be working with somebody who you've built a relationship with, who you know and trust, and because trust goes a long way. I personally feel like with the banks, there's a lot of turnover. So it's like every single time I walk in, there's somebody else, and I have to kind of rebuild that understanding with somebody. Whereas with the mortgage broker, like I'm always talking to the same person. They know where my finances are. They have my file. They'll be looking at it and they'll know, okay, this was. And sometimes they even position you better because they know, like, for example, hey, one of the biggest questions that I feel like brokers get, which I don't think is an intelligent question, is the rate question. And you'd know better than I would, right? Where like, oh my God, I want the cheapest rate. Cheapest rate may not be the best rate, right? Because you need to have all these other options. Sorry.
I actually, I actually have a story for
Yeah.
you. I have a client that I've been doing their bookkeeping and taxes for a number of years. And they came to me and they said, they handed me the renewal papers for their mortgage and say, can you beat this rate? And I looked at the rate and I went, I'm not even going to try. I said, but I do know your kids. And I know one of your kids is about to head to college and university in the fall. I said, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set you up with a brand new mortgage, different company, but it's going to have a HELOC, a home equity line of credit attachment. So as you pay down your first, your line of credit increases. I said, that way, while you're paying down your mortgage, you're building up this little bank for your kids in 1 or 2 years, I think it is, to be able to go away to college and you have that fund available to you. And that's going to be more beneficial than your rate.
Yeah.
Right.
And that can only happen when you know the client.
Right. 100%. And that's because I've been doing the other stuff for them for years and that sort of stuff. And they said, oh yeah, when our mortgage comes up for renewal, we're going to have you take care of it. And I said, okay, no problem. Because I love it when I have that kind of background information and knowledge. It's so much more fun. But again, it's a matter of rate is not everything. I look at the rates today and I look at the rates 2 years ago or a year ago even, and it's night and day. But at the end of the day, you may be paying a little higher of a rate right now, but what happens if, right? Yeah. And you always got to, as a broker, I always look at the what if.
Yeah.
I don't, okay, well, it's a slam dunk, easy, quick, low rate, we're out the door. No. I look at, do they have young kids?
Yeah.
Are there health concerns? Is there, what do I know about this family? What do I know about this client? Are they getting married in 3 years?
Yeah.
Are they looking at retirement in 2.5?
Yeah.
What's going to be their long-term goals? And I aim for those. I don't aim for today because today is today. We can't plan for it for today. Already here. So I look at what's going to happen in 5 years, what's going to happen in 10 years, what's going to happen in even 15 years. Like if I set my clients up for this trajectory, where is it taking them?
Yeah.
What is going to be their long term? And at the end of the day, that takes stress out, because if they know somebody is watching their future for them and making sure that they're on track. And yes, that train is going to get derailed because life isn't easy. Yeah. Life isn't straightforward. But if they know that somebody is sitting there going, okay, they want to retire in 10 years. How do I get them there? Okay, well, they have a derailment at year 3. All right. So how do I still get them there? Yeah. How do I get back? How do I get them out over that? And that's really what I do.
I mean, I think that stuff, honestly, in today's age, it's invaluable, because to have somebody kind of really understand where you're going and to help you plan for that. Like when people come and they ask me like the lowest rate question, I'm like, listen, when you're going buying a house, do you ask for the most square footage? Because where you're going to end up with the most square footage may not be in the neighborhood you want, the street you want. It's not going to look like what you want. There's a lot of other things. And it's this interest rate question is the same thing. It's like, there's so many other things to it.
Like you got everybody says, oh, 5-year fixed, 5-year fixed, 5-year fixed. Everybody loves them. And I can't remember the averages, and I should have looked this up because I wanted to bring this up. Now I'm I can't think of it. But there is a very large proportion of people that break their mortgage.
I think the average is the length for a 5-year term is anywhere between 3.5 to 4 years, 3 years. So the majority of people are breaking them.
Right. So now you got your 5-year fixed. Now you have to pay interest.
Yeah.
Now you have a penalty. What bank has the lowest penalty? Why are we not having that conversation?
Yeah. No, 100%.
Right. And so I always, in the back of my mind, can these guys afford that penalty in 3.5 years?
Yeah.
Is it going to be a huge detriment to them in 3.5 years? Or is it going to, again, looking at market trends, is that 3.5, 4 years from now, is the rates going to be better? Or are they going to go up a little bit more? Where are we sitting? And always having that in the back of my head, along with everything. It's a juggling act. It's how do we spend?
No, I definitely the amount of times that we've seen the penalties for breaking early, like 30,000 is just a number that just rolls off our desk. It's like, and my thought process has always been, when you were looking for the cheapest rate, did you factor in that 30,000? Because if you factor that in, the interest rate's much higher.
Not only that, but what happens if, okay, you're like me and play the occasional scratch ticket, and you win $100,000.
Yeah.
That could make a difference, right?
Yep.
Can you pay off part of your mortgage with that $100,000? What is the penalty on that $100,000?
Yep.
Right? If you get a nice bonus from your work and it's $25,000 and you're like, oh yay, let's put it against the mortgage because I really want to get the house paid off. Is that not only that, but you also some people have the mind of investment middle of their term.
Yeah.
Right. Great. Okay, so we break it, we make or we add a home equity line. What is it looking like? What are you going to make your return on your investment if you break? Is it going to be worth it? So there's a lot of different reasons to break your mortgage. And if you're not paying attention to down the road, are you the person that would invest? Are you the person that, or if life happens?
Yeah.
You know,
no, 100%.
Like if you lose your job for a few months or get laid off or COVID happens, God, there is so much of that. People lost their jobs or were laid off for months and months and months. You're in the service industry, you know, and you can't pay your credit cards. So your credit cards are skyrocketing and you're paying 29.9 interest or 19 interest. And you're sitting there going, I can't afford $800 over here in credit card bills, plus my mortgage over here, plus trying to live, and you're drowning. I'll pull you out of that drowning, but what's going to cost?
Yeah.
Always plan for the worst case scenario and hope for the best.
Yeah. No, honestly, and some of these things, they're not, I feel like it's common sense. I think over like a 5-year term, there's rarely been variable outperforming fixed, but people go for the fixed because of peace of mind or whatever it is, even though you'll be paying off. My perspective is, sorry.
A lot of times it's budgetary reasons. Because they like knowing, okay, they've been used to paying rent every month. On the first of the month, it's going to be $1,500, which was, you can tell how long it's been since I've. But that's the mentality that we went through. Was, I know that on the first of the month, every month, I have a rent payment, and now it's moved over to a mortgage payment. But it helps for budgetary reasons. Are you that family that needs that budget, or do you have a little bit of it? And I have a calculator, and I'm happy to run scenarios for anybody who would love to talk to me. And I can show you how a variable rate will outrank your fixed mortgage every time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, well, I can't say every time because there are a few exceptions to the rule,
Yeah.
but, right now they're outranking.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, so moving towards market questions, are you still, with the upward trajectory of rates, still recommending variable?
at this point I am, simply because they are still, at the point of, like, I look at worst case scenarios again.
Yeah.
Worst case scenarios always win. Even if I could put $100 back in your pocket at the end of the day, that's a win in my book. Even if it's $5. It is a little bit stressful, and I do know that everybody is kind of on their biting their nails a little bit with it. But hold on.
Yeah.
Like, over the term of your mortgage, at this moment, you're still better off.
And where,
right?
Yeah.
With the variables,
Yeah.
fixed going up just as much, right?
Yes.
So
where would you say interest rates are going? Where do you think, this is a crystal ball question, but December 2022 or even December 2023, do you think that, I know that there's talks of another like 75 basis point hike? Do you think there's more coming after that? Do you think that's the final one? Where do you feel like the real estate market's going to be in another 6 months to a year? Just because right now I feel like there's a lot of uncertainty. When people are saying market's going down, I'm saying not really, because when COVID hit, everybody stopped to see what's going on. Everybody, like, as you should, they're trying to figure out, and then they jumped back in, and then we saw this insane increase. Right now I feel like everybody's just kind of stopping to see what's going on. I don't think we're going up or down. I think people are just waiting to see what happens to the economy.
Just so we're clear, my crystal ball has been on back order since COVID. Something about COVID supply chain
logistics.
Yeah. So, but historically speaking, we always go through these uphills and downhills, and we are trending for an uphill. So I don't think this is going to be it. Our lovely little 75 basis points kick. But it will come back down again. Yeah, it's hard to say because I don't want to bite my nose off, spite my face here. But again, you are right. There is a lot of people kind of going, okay, what are we doing? And I know the bank is trying to stall inflation, stall the market a little bit, cool everything down, because again, the average home price out there is not obtainable to a lot of people. I mean, I look at, mind you, market rents aren't either. I things today and I go, I couldn't afford to rent. Yeah, I do see it still continuing to increase for probably another 6 months to a year, before it kind of peters out a little bit and just kind of hangs out, just because we have to bring the prices of things back down to make things more affordable, to restart everything again, and make it more affordable.
Yeah, and that's why also, like, I'm full of quotes, but my last quotes here is going to be like what Wayne Gretzky says. It's his quote, where skate to where the puck is going to be, not where it is. And you always need professionals to know where the puck is going to be, because like everybody's jumping on when they're thinking real estate rates or real estate prices and interest rates are low, so everybody feels like it's going to be like that forever. Now the market sentiment is, oh, well, it's going to be going up forever. That's not the case. You have to figure out what the market's like and see what your moves are.
100%. And again, there is a cycle, that, every 8 years, I think it is 7 or 8 years, we do peak with interest rates, and then they come back down to more normal rates. So I think we are headed for a bit of a peak. How high?
Yeah.
Not really speculate on that one. But again, it's an up and a down. You kind of gotta take the good with the bad. If you can get in with the good, grab them while you can, and then ride it out a little bit, and then keep going. I mean, at the end of the day, something has to be done, because again, the average household can't afford
Yeah.
$1 million property. Like, it's just, it's insane. I look at some of the houses that are going for $2 million in Toronto, and I'm like, my house is bigger. It's like downtown.
Yeah.
So it's just, it doesn't necessarily make a whole lot of sense sometimes. So
It is confusing. I was looking at it and I'm like, who can enter? Like, I can't enter this market right now. Like, I can't afford anything out there. So, I mean, but
when you end up with the multi-generational homes that you got mom and dad and possibly a sibling, and everybody's buying a house together, because that's the way the income works, and that's the way the margins work, and that's how we make it affordable. That's how it's affordable to people. So where does son and daughter get a chance to start, right? Because if they're in first time with mom and dad, they lose their first time home buyers benefits, right? So it's a tough gig. But again, come talk to me, have a conversation. Let's see what we can do and where we can get you to. I don't mind working with clients for years in advance to get them where they need to be, to help them put together a budget that helps them get the down payment together, that helps them get used to, what am I going to pay every month?
Yeah, and I think prices going down and interest rates going up is not a bad thing, because as soon as interest rates go down, you'll see a little bump of them, your equity going up as well, because I feel like it's just like a bond portfolio where your the value of your real estate is connected to the interest rate. Once the interest rates goes up, the value goes down, and once the interest rate goes down, the value goes up. So, thank you for joining us. For the listeners who want to contact Allison, or contact information, depending on where you're listening to this, is below or on the side. Any last words, Allison?
No, not really.
No,
I think I covered it.
Yeah, it's a lot of good information. Again, contact Allison. Thank you for joining us, Allison. Thank you.
No problem.